This is an emergency live stream. Please stand by for a Smitty announcement. Alert! Alert! This is an emergency live stream. Please stand by for a Smitty announcement. Alert! Alert! This is an emergency live stream. Please stand by for a Smitty announcement. Alert! Alert! This is an emergency live stream. Please stand by for a Smitty announcement. Alert! Alert! This is an emergency live stream. Please stand by for a Smitty announcement. Alert! Alert! This is an emergency live stream. Please stand by for a Smitty announcement.
Live from Smitty1.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Take a lap.
Wish I could say I didn't tell you so, but told you so. Deebo Samuel requesting a trade. Talked about it last night, talked about it the night before, talked about it the night before, talked about it on the quad box over and over. This was inevitable because the two sides were not coming together. Now, just to emphasize yesterday's botched and totally misguided Adam Schefter post, they are completely different perspectives. And Adam Schefter came out talking about how the Niners were trying to work out a deal. It was Deebo that didn't want to work out a deal, which was totally misrepresented. That picture was painted totally in bad light, in my opinion. The way Schefter's been reporting this has been awful. It wasn't, and as I said last night, it wasn't that a trade request wasn't likely. It's how Schefter is reporting it. Schefter's taken a bunch of his opinion and acting like it's fact. This right here, we've been talking about it all week, that this was coming, and it's all because of the 49ers botched attempt or no attempt at all to sign Deebo Samuel to a long-term deal. Deebo wanted to get this done from the beginning. The 49ers, with their feet-dragging approach, will take care of it in July and August, is why we are here. Which is why we are here. We called this from the beginning, and unfortunately, we are not out of the woods yet because these two sides are still probably not seeing eye to eye. Just because Deebo wants a trade, and this is the Schefter report. I'm sometimes hesitant to put his stuff up on the screen, but this report, just because Deebo Samuel has requested a trade, as Jeff Darlington reported, doesn't mean the 49ers have to make one, but it is, at the very least, one more gigantic subplot to mix into draft week. Get ready. Get ready. Niner by Nature dropping a $100 super chat. Niner by Nature is $6 away from being the super chat high of the year, I might add. $6 away on this live stream. And you, my friend, Niner by Nature, will be in this top spot right here. Because Drew C's got a 105 spot. Boom. Niner by Nature is $6 away on this live stream to being the top super chatter of the year in one given show. Everybody give Niner by Nature a round of applause there for supporting the show. Appreciate you. So, yeah, here's the point. And this Schefter is correct on. Just because he requests a trade doesn't mean the Niners are going to abide by it. Just because Deebo wants out right now doesn't mean he's going to get out. And just because Deebo wants out right now or is requesting a trade doesn't mean he's necessarily wanting out. He's playing hardball. Doesn't mean he wanted out the whole time, like Schefter has been kind of hinting at. This has been a building of things and consequences of the Niners not taking care of business. This has been very easy to solve from the beginning. This has been very easy to predict from the beginning that Deebo Samuel would be on a collision course with the Niners to eventually request a trade. This is what we knew was going to happen. And it's very simple to solve. You give this man the amount of money he's asking for, and then boom. Niner by Nature dropping a 10 spot to take over the lead for the high super chat. Sorry, Drew C. Drew C, you had a long run, though. 105 for a couple weeks. I appreciate you, Drew C. First want to round of applause you, my friend. Now it is Niner by Nature time to be the super chat high of one given show for the year so far. Niner by Nature 88 has got the top spot in the corner. If I ever forget to put that up, Niner by Nature, please remind me to put it up on the top of the screen there, because I do take it on and off like this from time to time based on the graphics I need, the real estate I need. But Niner by Nature has now climbed to the top. Where's some music here? Can we do some kind of like, I don't know, let's see, upbeat, what
Take a deuce.
no, that's not it. Take a deuce. That's not it. I don't know. Niner by Nature, I'll find you some music, some heroic music as you climb to the top. I wish I had better news today. And again, this doesn't mean the Niners are going to abide by his request, but Deebo Samuel is requesting a trade. Deebo Samuel is tired of the Niners not coming to the table. This is not the situation where Deebo is being a diva and just wants out. This man doesn't want to come and report to team activities and practice when he's not going to get a new deal and put his body at risk. Deebo Samuel put his heart and soul on the line last season when they came to him and said, hey, I know this is outside your job duties, Deebo, but we'd like you to play running back. We'd like you to play wide receiver. We'd like you to catch the football from time to time as a wide receiver, but turn into a running back. We'd like you to throw the football from time to time. We'd like to shorten your career, and we will take care of you later on. But no. What do? They sit there and play games, and they tell Deebo Samuel, well, we'll probably sign you in July or August. He's not waiting around for that. Now, Deebo's only got so much control. He can only request a trade. He can only ruffle feathers and create waves for so long. He does have to report. He does have to play. Deebo Samuel cannot afford to sit out and lose game checks and be fined $40,000 per day once it comes time to report. And there will be a time where Deebo then does have to report. Does he report disgruntled? Is he going to play your wide back position 49ers and run the ball and receive the ball and practice like that in your practices if he's got to show up to not miss game checks and get fined? No, he's not. So you do have a situation where Deebo will probably force a trade. Schefter reported it wasn't about money, but about his usage. It's about everything. Just like when Cooper Kupp says it's not about being the number one person or beating anybody out. That's the same thing Aaron Rodgers said. It's not about the money, and then Rodgers becomes the highest paid quarterback per year on the planet. So, of course, it's not about the money per se, but it is about the money because the money is about the respect. How you get respect is you get the money. So let's not dance around that Cooper Kupp doesn't want to be the top paid wide receiver. It's not that he wants to be the top paid wide receiver. He wants to be the top respected wide receiver, and that's why Cooper Kupp's going to get his deal. And I've said this all along. The moment Cooper Kupp signs his extension, and I saw a comment in my video from last night saying, why would Cooper Kupp get extended? He's got extended 2 years ago. Because he gets paid like $14 million a year. And so the Rams know what time it is. They understand the assignment. And they're not going to send Cooper Kupp out there, Triple Crown winner, paying him $14 million a year. They're going to upgrade this man's contract. They're going to right-size this man's contract. They're going to respect the man like the Niners should respect Deebo. Deebo wasn't asking for $80 million guaranteed 2 months ago. The Niners dropped the ball. No Schefter from Schefter's report last night. No, the Niners haven't been coming to the table. They're ready to sign Deebo. There's a big fat contract sitting on the table. That's what Schefter's bogus reporting said last night, that the Niners have been trying to sign him to a deal. It's BS. They haven't. Maybe the Niners are freaking out now a little bit. Maybe the Niners have tried to get to the table to what? Like just BS him? To just like convince Deebo to hold off until July and August. It's the Niner way. It's what we do. I bet you the Niners have tried to get Deebo back to the table to discuss some BS options. I fully believe that. And it wouldn't surprise me if Deebo said, I'm no longer coming to the table. So Adam Schefter's report yesterday saying that the Niners are ready, they want to pay him, they're trying, but Deebo's refusing, he wants out. That's because Deebo knows they're trying to run circles around him. They're trying to just run a bunch of BS through the table instead of putting a contract on the table. That's what's really going on. So there's been a couple people that said, Smitty, see, Schefter was right last night. Schefter was not right last night. You need to look at what I was saying about Schefter last night. Schefter painting this picture like the Niners have been at the table the whole time, or that the Niners are at the table right now, is a bunch of BS. It's a bunch of smoke. The Niners may want to get to the table to tell them to wait until July or August. Deebo's not having it. Deebo beats to the beat of his own drum. He doesn't play these games, and there will be a point, yes, where Deebo can no longer call out this team and bluff his way through this process. If the Niners refuse to trade him and drag their feet like they do everything, guys, I'm a Niners supporter. I don't want you getting mad at me when I'm critical or negative on the Niners, but I've been right this entire offseason on every single topic we've been talking about. Not trying to pat my own back, but watch the Jimmy G situation. Should have released Jimmy G. Didn't. You're not going to be able to trade Jimmy G. They couldn't. No one's going to want him later. I'm going to be right on that too. You need to cut Jimmy G, and you need to do it now. It's hurting the confidence of Trey Lance, even though I think Trey will bounce back from that. It's hurting Trey Lance's confidence. Signing Deebo right away was required, or you're going to have this blow up. Now it's blown up. He will request a trade. I said it probably about 2 weeks ago, and I've said it pretty much every day since. He will request a trade. Eventually, Deebo's going to request a trade. Why would he not? The draft is approaching. The window to be traded is closing, because if Deebo wants to get traded, or if the Niners want to trade him, or if a team wants to acquire him, it has to happen prior or on draft day. Because what good is trading Deebo Samuel after there's no more now draft capital to acquire and better your team with for a team like the Niners that wants to win and can win now? Whether you disagree with that as a fan of the Rams out there and you want to clown on this, whatever. I don't care if you don't like the Niners or believe in the Niners. I'm not a Niner fan. I'm a Niner supporter. I'm on Niner shows on Instagram and on YouTube with my boy RSF 49ers, Vlad, and C-Mac, and we do this Niner show, so I have invested interest in Niner talk. I do. I have a lot of people say, Smitty, you're talking all about Niners right now lately. Stop talking about Niners all the time. The Niners are in the news. Deebo's the biggest thing going on in fantasy football and NFL news right now. I'm not going to not cover it every single day when there's new and more information coming out. It is the top topic of the current news cycle. It has been and will be. So get used to it. I'm not just talking Niner, just random Niner stuff. Everything I talk about that's Niner related is absolutely relevant and probably the biggest news that's out there right now. Wesley says, Smitty talking about dragging our feet. Are you aware that that's not how we operate in San Francisco? We do not make moves until the draft. Been like that. Exactly. That's the problem, Wesley. I think I've already emphasized that is the problem. I don't care what the Niner way is, Wesley. The Niner way is wrong. The Niner way is why you have Jimmy G on your roster, Wesley. The Niner way is why Deebo Samuel, as predicted, is requesting a trade. The Niner way is why Deebo no longer costs you what you should have paid, Wesley, which is about 55 million guaranteed for 3 or 4 years. Now he costs 80 million. He costs almost double what he did 2 or 3 months ago. Do you think you're enlightening me? I love you, Wesley. I appreciate you, Brofist, but bro, you aren't enlightening me by anything with this comment. What do you talk about? Drag your feet. Are you not aware that the Niners, this is how they operate? I've been saying that this operation of Operation Drag Feet Gate. I've been saying, Wesley, that this is a problem. I don't know that you've been watching, but Wesley, this is the problem. To your point, this is exactly the problem. The Niner way, July, August, doesn't work. It doesn't work, Wesley. Why? Because you didn't ask Deebo to wait when you said, hey, why don't you go out there without your new contract, Wesley? Why don't you go out there and play running back and wide receiver for an entire season? Deebo didn't wait. Deebo didn't say, okay, I'll do this later. Deebo went out and played his heart and soul out and literally played running back and wide receiver without getting paid extra, not in his job duties. And what does he get? We'll take care of you later. Yeah, right. Yeah, like he's going to believe that as the contracts go up. Wesley, every single day you wait, his value and market value goes up to a point where he's getting priced out of the Niners' reach. Why would you wait? Why is the Niner way beneficial waiting till July or August when literally Deebo Samuel is going to be priced out of your price range every single day, every single contract that signs? Explain that to me. This is why we have been to the Super Bowl and division championships in comparison to what other teams. We have to show what others do not. Wesley, I appreciate you, but we couldn't be further apart from how we see the situation. So I appreciate you though, but no one cares about the Niner way. Like, I'm on a Niner show with diehard Niner fans. They also don't agree with the Niner way. No one cares about the Niner just because we've always done it. It's how Dad did it. Dad did it this way. We're going to do it this way. We're going to continue to do it the same way over and over because it's the Niner way. waiting to sign Deebo, letting Deebo double in values the Niner way. It's how we do things. We let Deebo double, and then we come back in for the kill. And we try and sign him at the same price we wouldn't, and we refused to sign him 2 months ago. We refused to sign him at $50 million guaranteed 2 months ago. And now we're ready to pay $80. It's the Niner way. It gets us to championships. I appreciate you, Wesley, but we see, you and I see eye to eye on this like Schefter and I see eye to eye on everything. Oh boy. Complete botch offseason. The Niners couldn't have made a bigger mistake than the two mistakes that they've made already this year. Keeping Jimmy G, not signing Deebo Samuel. I don't understand what they're thinking. Smitty, man, I need to take a break from watching you for a little bit. Seems like you've been less involved in the comments. I'm not. I'm right here, Nev. But I appreciate you, regardless. And when we're breaking news, Nev, I got to talk for 10, 15 minutes straight at a time when I'm reporting on it. It's not just a comment show. I appreciate you. And I do try and be involved in all the comments. But you got to understand, on an hour show, I have sometimes upward of 1,500 to 1,900 comments. I mean, what am I supposed to do, Nev? What am I supposed to do? Let's see here. I mean, ask fantasy questions too, and we got a few voice messages here, and to the comments about that I'm reporting too much on Niner content. This is literally the biggest report out there right now. Breaking news. Do you really think I'm not going to report on this? I don't understand where some of that comment, that those comments are coming from. Am I supposed to ignore it because it's Niner talk? I mean, I don't even understand that. I don't understand it at all. Where's Deebo getting traded to? Bro, he's not getting traded for sure anywhere. But I'd probably say, Julius, that Deebo is going to be talked about and linked to potential Jet trades. The Jets are going to come after him. The Jets have the 4 and the 10 pick. So that's going to be a real good... Where's my audio? Do you guys hear my music? I don't hear my music. I think it's there, though. I see the volume bar, but I can't hear anything. Eagles, that's possible that they inquire, that they're interested, but I don't think he's going to the Eagles. The Jets seem like the most likely, I would say. Best place for Deebo to land fantasy-wise. Where's the best place? I'd probably say, let's take a look at some of the teams in the draft order and see what's possible. Or I'd say they're not trading him to Green Bay. They're not trading him to I mean, they could trade him to they could trade him to Miami. Miami and New York, the New York Jets are probably the two most likely to be linked. I don't know that those deals will for sure get done or even be talked about, but I mean, those are the two most likely landing spots. Green Bay would be phenomenal, but they're not sending him to Green Bay. There's no way they want to face Deebo Samuel in a Packers uniform. Although, you know, the price was right, but it's not going to be. Anybody that defends the 49ers right now and the way they've handled this, I don't understand that. Eagles, Wesley says Eagles, Jets, Miami. I can get behind all three of those, probably in a little bit different order. I'd say most likely to get them are the Jets, second, Miami, and then third would be the Eagles of Wesley's three right here. But I don't know. I can't even think of another. Let me pull up the list of NFL teams and just kind of glance over and see if anything tickles my fancy here. I'm going to go ahead and say other potential teams, maybe. I mean, New England could inquire. I think it'd be a bad spot for Deebo. I don't think he'd thrive there. But New England is a possibility. The Browns, the Cleveland Browns could try and pair Deebo up with Watson. I could see that happening. The Ravens could be tempted to try and pull Deebo, and it's AFC. I mean, I could see the Ravens, hey, let's get Lamar a weapon finally. That could happen. So I'd say Cleveland, Baltimore, Tennessee, no. The Colts, I mean, they'd be smart to try and inquire about Deebo. So we'll say the Colts, we'll say the Baltimore Ravens, the Cleveland Browns, the New England Patriots will be players in this. Chargers would be very smart to inquire and get Deebo and Herbert connected. That would be phenomenal. Denver would be very interesting. I mean, even though they've got Judy, he would be the top wide receiver option immediately in Denver. Give Russell Wilson Deebo Samuel. Kansas City could inquire. They wanted to give Tyreek Hill the bag. Tyreek Hill said no and signed with the Raiders. I'm sorry, the Dolphins. Tyreek Hill didn't want to stay. Adams, same thing, didn't want to stay with the Green Bay Packers and ended up signing a similar deal. The Packers gave him a little bit more to account for like tax differences, but Adams was offered a deal. The Packers aren't going to get Deebo, but just my point being that some of these teams, people think because the wide receiver like Hill got traded or because Adams got traded that the Packers and Chiefs aren't interested in paying a wide receiver. They are. They were just disgruntled. They just wanted out. Tyreek Hill was about to ink his contract extension, about to sign a massive deal with the Chiefs to be extended. But when Adams was traded and Adams signed his new deal, it changed the fair market value for Hill. And so Hill pulled out. And Hill said, never mind, I don't want to sign. I want to be traded. And then the Chiefs traded him almost immediately. So point is that the Chiefs are still in the market for a wide receiver. And they would pay Deebo, I think, because Deebo wouldn't command as much as Hill was asking. And I think they'd offer him a deal. Plus, I think if Deebo gets traded to a new environment and gets a reset, I think he'd be reasonable. I think he'd accept something like 55, 65 million guaranteed just to get out of this Niners situation and kind of like save face. Like, hey, maybe I shouldn't take 55 or 65 from the Niners the way I've been disrespected. But if I get traded, maybe I will accept something like that. Chargers, Chiefs, Broncos, all possibilities. Then you go back into the NFC, and it's like, I don't know that the Niners want to trade him into the NFC anywhere. Like Dallas comes calling. I don't think they're going to want to do that. Dallas would be interested. Philly would be interested, but NFC, I don't know if it's going to happen. Packers, they're not going to. I don't think they're going to do that. They'll probably be interested, but they're not going to. I think surrender Deebo to the Packers. But it all comes down to draft capital because at the end of the day, NFC or not, they're not going to trade him in the NFC West. NFC or not, they're going to want to get something that makes the team better. So if Deebo, garners multiple first rounders and it's to an NFC team, the Niners might still say yes. Money over championships now, says Niner by Nature, who is the top super chatter of the year so far in an individual show with $110. Appreciate that, Niner by Nature, dropping a big wad of cash this morning. The only way we should trade Deebo is if they also take Jimmy. Yeah, no one's taking Jimmy's contract. Nobody, in my opinion. Julius says Jets receive Deebo Samuel, 49ers receive Becton Williams, 2022 first rounder via the New York Jets, and a 2023 second round pick. That's your thought? I mean, it's got to be the 10 or the 4, in my opinion. You give the 10 or the 4, then you can start talking about second rounders or players and compensation. I definitely think that 4 or 10 is going to start talking. Help the Niners out of the situation that they've created for themselves. I guess CBN88 wasn't here for the beginning where I broke this down. So guess that Schefter's news wasn't trash after all, huh? Laughing emojis. Actually, no, it was trash. And I broke that down at the beginning of the show because I knew somebody was going to come in here and say something about, well, I guess Schefter's report was right. No, if you go watch my video, I literally said Deebo Samuel is going to request a trade in the coming days. CBN88. I literally said that at the end of my video. This does not confirm anything that Schefter said. Schefter said that the Niners have been at the table and that the Niners want to pay him and that the Niners know, what contracts look like, and they literally no. The Niners haven't been at the table, and the fan base has been disrespecting Deebo so much that I told you last night in my video, CBN88, that Deebo would be requesting a trade, but not because of what Schefter's reporting. So the answer to your question, Schefter's report was garbage, and I addressed that already. But I appreciate you bringing that up again, because I'm sure a couple other people probably feel the same way. And Schefter has been reporting trash lately. Even the Haskins thing, everything he's been talking about lately has been garbage. Look, hey, he's still connected. I still have his report on my screen. So in Schefter's defense, he still reports good news. The problem is we can't decipher it anymore. We don't know half the time when he's talking about something from a source, whether it's his opinion, like how he framed the Aaron Rodgers getting traded out of Green Bay this time last year. But to Schefter's credit, look who's on my screen. Look who's on my screen. Adam Schefter and his tweet this morning about Deebo Samuel requesting a trade. So Schefter's going to stay relevant. He's still posting stuff. He's still well connected. He's still getting paid like $9 million a year by ESPN. He's going to stay relevant. Schefter's winning. He's winning because he's getting paid and he's still well connected and he's still going to be reporting good news from time to time. But there was a lot of trash reporting that's coming from him lately, from the Haskins situation to the A-Rod stuff last year to the way he's reporting this Deebo Samuel situation, that the Niners are sitting at the table. Niners aren't sitting at the table. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. We're at this situation. We're in this impasse between Deebo and the Niners because the Niners didn't take care of it and the Niners haven't been at the table. And like I said last night, CB88, CB, whatever your name is, appreciate you, by the way. I'm not mad at you, but I do sense sometimes you're trying to come in here and like show me up on something that I've already said. But bro, like I said last night, Schefter's acting like the Niners are sitting at the table. The Niners are probably trying to get back to the table to tell Deebo to wait. That's what the Niners are doing. Everybody in here that knows the Niners well knows that the Niner way is why we're here, and that the Niner way is to wait until July or August. And the Niners are probably going to the table without a contract on the table, and they're waiting there. And someone like Schefter's reporting that Deebo's refusing to go back to the table. But Deebo's refusing to go back to the table because the Niners aren't offering him a deal. The Niners want to wait. And even if they want to come to the table now, and slap an offer down, Deebo, like I said last night, is probably so fed up with the fan base calling him out, all these racial slurs and death threats that he's gotten lately. Why would he want to stay? And even if the Niners said right now, they called him up and they said, Deebo, it's John. I know we've been dragging our feet, but hey, we've got a $65 million guaranteed contract offer, 4 years. Come sign it, buddy. What do you say? You know what Deebo's going to say? I'm going to go circle around and talk to some teams if you let me have a trade, or I'm going to request a trade. I'm going to hear people out. Niners might say, no, we've got a $65 million deal right here. We want you to sign it. That's possible. But Deebo Samuel, right now, in my opinion, even if the Niners were willing to give him a $65 million offer and they were here at the table, this is late in the game for Deebo to just be like, oh, let's let bygones be bygones. Deebo probably wants to know what his worth really is. Similar to a fantasy football trade, when you're trying to work on something and you say, hey Bob, you want to make a trade? I want your 1.1. Bob says, well, what do you want to give? And you're working out a deal. You're trying to work Bob over, but you're trying to make it, sly and subtle. Bob's almost there. Bob's like, I really want to do it. I'm very close to doing the trade, Smitty. Super close to doing the trade. But I think I'm going to go ask the rest of the league. I'm going to put a message on the league message board and say, does anybody else want the 1.1 before I trade it? That is the absolute worst thing that could happen to you. You're in trade negotiations, and the other owner about to do a deal. You're about to get the 1.1, but he says, I want to ask the rest of the league mates what they give me. Let me just shop it around a little bit. The absolute worst thing that could ever happen to you in your trade negotiation. That's what Deebo wants to do right now to the 49ers. Maybe they do want to try and wrap this up quick. Maybe. We don't know. Odds are no. Odds are they want to get Deebo to the table to tell him to chill and wait until July. We'll take care of you, Deebo. We'll take, just like we told you last year when you were playing running back or wide receiver, we'd take care of you, and then we didn't. We'll take care of you in June or July or August, okay? Just kind of chill and wait back. Trust us. Trust us, Deebo. That's what they probably want to say. But even if they came to the table with a decent offer at this point, he wants to go see. He wants to go, whether they let him or not, he wants to go see Deebo Samuel, what he's worth, and how fan bases will react, and how a team will be inviting-wise. Like, hey, Deebo, we could really use you. We appreciate you. We respect you. We want to pay you. We want to pay you $80 million guaranteed. If you can facilitate a trade, Deebo, we'll give you $80 million. Now think about it. Now, this doesn't mean Adam Schefter's report was accurate, that the Niners are willing to pay and Deebo's unwilling to accept. This is a culmination of everything that's transpired and added up to this point. Now Deebo is probably wondering, will a team pay me $80 million? And after requesting a trade, he's going to hear from little birdies everywhere that this team, hey, we would pay Deebo. Someone's going to come out and say, we would, if we were offered Deebo, we would pay him $85 million guaranteed a year. Now the Niners have nothing to stand on, because even if the Niners come back and say, we'll give you $65 million guaranteed, he now knows he will get $80 million if he can make a big enough fuss to get traded. But the problem is, the Niners aren't the kind of organization that really likes to get pushed around. The offer could make them do a deal before or on draft day. Let's say the 49ers, let's say they get an offer for the 4 pick, let's say, from the Jets, and a 2nd pick and a 4th rounder. They might say, hey, we're not getting pushed around by D, but that's a great offer. We're kind of tired of this. Hit the button, John. Let's accept that trade. So the offer will do the talking. The Niners will be susceptible to looking like they're getting pushed around by Deebo if the deal is right for the Niners. But the deal's going to have to be overwhelming. A team's going to have to really want to pay the price for Deebo. The Jets will have to come with something strong. They can't come from with a 30 whatever pick and a couple 30. They have a couple picks in the 30s, I believe. A couple 30s, in a future second or something. You've got to bring that 4 pick. You got to bring that 4 pick. You bring the 4 pick to the table, you could probably get Deebo. You bring the 4 pick to the table and a 2nd rounder, and then you offer Deebo this verbal commitment of, we'll pay you $80 million guaranteed. Make a stink. Deebo makes a stink. Deebo Samuel becomes a New York Jet. That's how it gets done. Deebo Samuel, if he feels like he can create enough unrest and the team that's offering the trade can offer the Niners something that they can swallow their pride and say, you know what, we look like we're being manhandled here, but we're going to make a trade that's best for the organization. Let's take the 4. Let's take a 2nd. Let's turn our 2 seconds that we now have into another low 1st rounder. Now you get at number 4, you get Sauce Gardner and you get a Watson at the bottom of round 1. And I hate to say this, guys, but the team's better. If you can pull that off, the team is better. The Niners are a better team with Sauce Gardner on defense and Treylon Burks at wide receiver. Even though you go down offensively, you take a huge hit losing Deebo. Burks, Olave, Christian Watson, if you were to take, let's say, the 4 and a 2nd, the 4 overall by the Jets, and a 2nd rounder, and you take that 2nd and you compile it with your other 61 pick, and you trade the 2 picks for a 1st rounder, low 1st, whatever, 25 overall, something like that. And you the Cardinals, you took the 23rd or whatever, and you take Treylon Burks with that pick, or Olave, or Christian Watson. Now you've got an elite wide receiver, and you've got Sauce Gardner to make the defense not top 5, top 1 to 5. The Niner defense is top 1 to 5 if you throw Sauce Gardner on this squad, or Stingley, or Hutchinson, or, there are a number of players in the top 10 that I think you put this on this Niners defensive roster, and boom, you have a top 1 to 5 overall defense. And Treylon Burks, guess what? Ayuk and Treylon Burks won't be that much lesser in the end of day than Deebo and Ayuk. Ayuk and Treylon Burks will be phenomenal. Ayuk and Olave will be close enough to Deebo and Ayuk that Sauce Gardner is a big enough difference. You've got to accept that deal. I hate to say it. I don't want Deebo to leave, but if the Jets are willing to overpay, guess what? That deal makes me punch the button immediately. Give me the 4 and a second rounder, and then I know I can move my 2 seconds for a 25 overall to get the wide receiver. It's a win. It's a win. So, and to a lot of people's point that Deebo's had one big year, it makes an argument to make this move. That argument is sound enough to say we should probably go ahead and pull the trigger on something like that. So, let's see. Let me answer some of the questions. I mean, some of you said I didn't answer a lot of the questions in the chat, or one of you said that, not a lot of you. One of you said that. I'm going to try my best to do more of that, okay? I apologize if I've been doing a lot of news breaking, but guys, what am I supposed to do? I'm in the middle of a rant talking about why something should or shouldn't happen. It's hard for me to get to all that information and answer questions at the same time. It's not that I don't want to participate in Q&A. I think in the nighttime streams, especially when we're mock drafting, I'm answering questions the entire time. I also get between 1,200, depending on the live, like in these lives, 1,200 to 1,900 comments within an hour to an hour and a half period. So doing the best I can. As Mom always said, let's see here. Sell him at his highest value. Injury-prone player. Why is it? I got to make this bigger. Injury-prone player. It's Ayuk season. Sir Lance, king of the NFC, Niner by nature, who is currently the single highest super chatter of the year in one given show, with the 110 spot up at the top of your screen. Mills to Deebo season. Houston ain't trading for Deebo. Houston's in rebuild mode. They're not going to pay him. They're not ready to pay him yet. They're not ready to pay somebody like that yet. Jets pay him $80 million. I think that they would. Thoughts? His brother just said he ain't going anywhere. Look, Jimmy, we've reported that. The Quad Box reported yesterday his brother is trolling all sides of this. So don't take what his brother says with a grain of salt. Or take it with a grain of salt. Or don't take it for anything, because his brother is trying to troll everyone. His brother, the report that we had from the Quad Box from CMAC reported it, then Raj reported it, and it was in response to the other question. The question was Deebo is wanting out, and then Deebo's brother said, no, you guys all take whatever you hear and run with it. I don't know what Deebo's going to do, actually. And we reported that. So he's been all over the place. And it's not like his brother predicted he wants a trade. It's obvious. I've been saying it for 2 weeks. He's going to request a trade. The draft is approaching. If a trade's going to happen, you got to make it known right before the draft. It was clear as day. Writing on the wall, Deebo is going to request a trade. That's why I've been saying it for several weeks now. Guys, Deebo's brother ain't his agent. Yeah. It's funny, man. Shout out to Bosa, though, how he's handling his contract. Exactly. I mean, let's be honest. Bosa is handling his situation perfectly. Deebo isn't even a pure wide receiver. That's Ayuk, says Hendricks. I don't know that I agree with that, because I think Deebo has only played the one healthy year, and that's, I guess, the argument you can make as to why Deebo doesn't deserve to get this huge bag, and I understand that argument. I also understand the argument that Deebo proved it in 1 year, and your eyeballs should tell you that Deebo's on a whole nother level now and deserves to get paid. He deserves. I think it's worth taking the risk to pay him, to be honest. With what he did on the field last year, he's deserving of that risk. But I think this is an unfair comment that a lot of people make. Hendricks, I appreciate and respect the comment, but a lot of people make this comment. I think it's unfair to judge Deebo on his one full healthy season when you asked him to play running back and he knocked it out of the park. He knocked out this non-traditional role out of the park, and because he didn't play wide receiver full go, people, instead of saying, well, man, if he can do that, I'm sure he can play pure wide receiver position better than anybody on the team. But instead, people look at it like a negative, like he didn't do it, he did it at running back. Like, to me, I think anybody that can take his wide receiver duties, divide them up, and become an elite running back and good wide receiver, proved to me that if they stayed in the wide receiver role, they probably would be the most pure and best wide receiver on the roster. I think handing Ayuk that already seems premature. Not that I don't love Ayuk. Even if Deebo and Ayuk are both on the team together, I think Ayuk could have, under Trey Lance's command, still get 70 receptions. Ayuk's going to have a big year regardless. But Ayuk's going to step in nicely. If you look at the rookie highlights of Ayuk, he's all over the field like Deebo was. And that's why a lot of us thought that Ayuk was going to have a Deebo-like year in 2021, but it was Deebo that had the year. Deebo times CD. It's possible the Cowboys come a-calling. Yeah, absolutely. Deebo is glass. I don't know. My typing sucks. It's okay, King. Appreciate you. How many spots left in the 2020 Cooper Cup tournament? Probably about 15 or so. Deebo saying he wants a trade, but his brother says no, so his brother must be right. His brother's all over the place. His brother's ridiculous with this. Let me see if I got any questions from you guys from the... All right, guys. Appreciate everybody here. I'll be back at the 7 p.m. show. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the thumbs up button.